How's it going, everyone? It's Harvey from Weather Sponge 1000. Today is November 24th, 2021, and today we're going to focus on the next potential major Northeast snowstorm that could dump heavy snow throughout the Northeast into early next week. We'll go in depth to see what are the chances you'll experience a major snowstorm in the Northeast and how much snow you could potentially receive in your location in the Northeast. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the GFS forecast model. So let's take a look at how the precipitation throughout the United States looks as of right now and where exactly the ridges and the troughs are located. You see that for the most part, as of right now, throughout the United States, the weather is pretty quiet when it comes to precipitation. We do have a very strong dominating ridge that's centered towards the eastern half of the United States, and you see that there isn't really any sort of trough that's bringing a lot of precipitation in the United States at this time. We do have a little bit of a low pressure system that's expected to eventually encounter a little bit instability for some rain showers to form along this jet stream dip. However, it won't dump a lot of rain throughout the southern United States, so it won't be that much. So it won't be a huge issue. Just make sure to watch out for rain. But you could see some snow on the backside of this storm, so watch out in the interior Northeast from this low pressure system. But the primary focus in this video will be the next potential Northeast snowstorm that could dump extremely heavy snow, maybe over a foot of snow in some areas in the Northeast, if we were to see some of the computer model scenarios come for fruition. So taking a look at how this storm will form in the near future, you see that right around the Saturday timeframe, November 27th, we're going to see a little bit of an Alberta Clipper move southward, just south of the United States-Canadian border. And you see that it's going to be fairly weak, this Alberta Clipper, centered with the millibar pressure centered right around 1,010 millibars. But you do see that it is enough to at least produce a little bit of convection for some snow to begin right around the northern Midwest states such as Minnesota and North Dakota. And if we were to continue to move forward, you see that the low pressure maintains its strength. It doesn't really weaken. It doesn't really strengthen as it moves southward, but it's expected to rapidly intensify once it reaches the Northeast, which is typical for a lot of Alberta Clippers that move southeastward into the Northeast. It's as a result of the Atlantic Ocean, which is typically always a lot warmer in terms of temperature than the air temperature surrounding it. So as a result, there's always sort of an unstable environment to trigger a lot of intensifying right around the northeast coast. And this seems like it's going to be no different, where we do see low pressure some drop from around 1,010 millibars to 1,003 millibars by the time it reaches the Ohio vicinity. And if we were to continue to move forward, by this point you see that the area of snowfall becomes a lot larger. You see that right around, if we were to only go right around late Saturday, you see that it's just the precipitation area isn't very large at all, and it isn't dumping a heavy amount of snow in one specific area. But you see that the snowfall area and the precipitation area becomes a lot larger as it encounters a little bit more instability, and as a result a little bit more convection and lift in the atmosphere for more precipitation to occur. And a snowfall area this large and of this magnitude will dump heavy amount of snow throughout the Northeast, especially in the interior Northeast. You see that this snow affects New York City, even along the Interstate 95 corridor, and it clearly affects most of Pennsylvania and New York, upstate New York in this scenario. And then you see that once this low pressure system really gets close to the Atlantic Ocean just off the northeast coast, then it really begins to intensify, because we're going to see that cold air move over the warmer Atlantic Ocean, which still has temperatures in the 50s when you're pretty much putting 30-degree temperatures to interact with 50-degree sea surface temperatures with the surrounding air above it hovering right around 50 degrees as well, that's bound to create a lot of lift in this area and a lot of instability for this low pressure system to continue to strengthen with its millibar pressure dropping, as there is a possibility it could go through bombogenesis if there's just enough instability to induce that. As you see, the millibar pressure continues to drop, and not only that, but the snowfall rates continue to go up as this moves further northeastward, close to the New England, where we do see the darker blue contours, we do see the purple contours, which represents very heavy snow throughout New England. And this is definitely something to be concerned about throughout the Northeast, because this could potentially be major if this were to strengthen just a little bit earlier than expected, which is certainly the possibility, because when forecasting an event 4 to 5 days out, a lot could change with the forecast over the next several days. As you see, the snowfall rates are very heavy, and you see it maintains its strength right around 990 millibars as this moves northward into New England, and it dumps a heavy amount of snow throughout Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, as well as Massachusetts, before moving northward and eventually going into eastern Canada, not affecting the United States at this time. So this would be a major snowstorm for a lot of you guys. If we were to take a look at the forecasted snowfall that the GFS computer model is forecasting, this time I'm going to show you the forecasted snowfall when it comes to the depth of snowfall in the ground, which is much more reliable than what I've been using before, which pretty much only measured the snowfall that's falling out of the sky rather than sticking on the ground. So this will give a better idea of how much snow you should expect if the GFS model scenario was correct. You see that if the GFS model scenario was completely correct, you see that there's going to be a lot of areas right around Vermont, New Hampshire, as well as Maine, receiving close to, if not over, a foot of snow. And you see that Boston, Massachusetts, the heavy snow is right at your doorstep, as this could be one of those scenarios where any small, minuscule changes in the trajectory of this low pressure system could make a big difference in terms of how much snowfall you receive. And you see the snow extends to Pennsylvania as well as upstate New York as well, where you're receiving a large area of 3 to 6 inches, and even northwestern New Jersey is getting involved with around 3 to 6 inches of snow in this scenario. So, and in terms of the snowfall right around New York City, as of right now, it's hovering right around 1 inch to maybe no snowfall at all, but there's still a lot of uncertainty to see, and we just need to wait and see where exactly that rain snow line will be in New York City to really determine where, if you guys will receive a major snowstorm, or if you won't receive any snow at all from this storm. So there's still a lot of uncertainty regarding the track. And the thing is that if you last checked my forecast yesterday, you see that the reason why I wasn't so lenient on forecasting this snowstorm or just yet, or making big jumping to a lot of conclusions with this low pressure system moving through the Northeast just yet, was because the GFS model was still not taking any sort of snowstorm to the Northeast, as opposed to the European model, which was taking pretty big snowstorms to the Northeast. But now it seems like both of the main reliable computer models are agreeing that we're going to see some sort of snowstorm in the Northeast. There is that possibility it could change, but when we're talking about an event that's around 4 to 5 days out, while there is still certainly that possibility that this low pressure system will weaken as it heads to the Northeast coast and not be as significant of a threat as originally expected, I think more likely than not at this point, you're gonna at least experience some sort of snow event throughout the Northeast, since we're getting into that time frame where, while it's still highly uncertain regarding where exactly location of the snow will be, where the heavy snow will be located and how powerful this storm will be, I think it's at least safe to predict at this point that we will see at least some sort of snow associated with this low pressure system moving through the north. That's going to move through the northeast into early next week. So throughout the northeast, you need to at least be aware of this because we could see our first snow for a lot of you guys in the northeast, and it could potentially be major if all the right factors play out. As you see, the European model is also forecasting a pretty big snowstorm throughout the northeast. In terms of the forecasted snowfall, the European model is forecasting, again, this is assuming that the ratio of precipitation and snowfall is 1 to 10. You see that the European model is also predicting a pretty significant snow event where a large area is receiving around 6 to 12 inches of snow, and an even larger area of 3 to 6 inches. This includes Michigan as well. So this is definitely something we want to see because both the main reliable computer models are not only agreeing that a snowstorm will occur, but in terms of the accumulation and the location of where all that snow, all the heaviest snow will be located, it's very similar, and that gives us a lot more confidence with the forecast within the next 4 days. We need to see if this holds up, but I'd say more likely than not, we will see a snowstorm throughout the northeast at this point. So I'd say to at least be aware of this. I wouldn't say prepare now because this forecast is still right around 4 to 5 days out though, so there's still a lot of uncertainty if this storm will even form off the northeast coast or not, or if we'll see precipitation out of this low pressure system. But I'd say definitely keep a close eye on this one throughout the northeast for head into late this weekend into early next week, because you could see your first snowstorm out of this. Now you might be wondering what will make this storm more powerful, what will allow this storm to dump more snow, as you're probably wondering what we need to keep an eye on over the next couple of days to see if this will dump heavy snow or not throughout the northeast. Well, it really all depends on this jet stream dip, and this jet stream dip will matter a lot, because if the jet stream dip were to dip a little bit further southward, that would mean that the cold air would interact with the warmer air mass that's located towards the southeast a little bit more, and that'll create a more unstable environment for more lift in the atmosphere to occur, for more convection to occur, and as a result, heavier snow, a more powerful storm. And not only that, more southward jet stream dip would mean that the trajectory of this low pressure system would be further southward as well. So areas further southward, such as Philadelphia, New York City, and maybe even Washington, D.C. could get involved in some snow in a jet stream, in a more pronounced jet stream dip scenario. But there is still also that possibility the jet stream dip doesn't dip as far south, as this could maybe be more of an interior northeast threat, while cities surrounding the Interstate 95 corridor, such as Boston and New York City, this may be more of a rain event for you guys if that scenario were to occur, where we see a less pronounced jet stream dip. And a less pronounced jet stream dip would also mean there's going to be less unstable air for a more powerful storm to form. So we could see a weaker storm than anticipated if we were to see a less pronounced jet stream dip. So we just need to keep an eye on how the jet stream maneuvers over the next several days to make a more reliable forecast on how powerful this snowstorm will be and how much snow you should receive throughout the northeast over the next several days. Now, next, taking a look at my forecast regarding where you should expect the heaviest snow and at least moderate snow from this. So I didn't give specific numbers in terms of how many inches of snow just yet, because the forecast is still uncertain, and I want to do justice to you guys and not give you guys any specific just yet, because there's still a lot of uncertainty regarding the forecast. But I'm going to use more vague terms such as heaviest snow and heavier snow at this time. And you see that right around northern New England, this is where I'm expecting the heaviest snow to occur, right around Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, as well as portions of Massachusetts. This is where the heaviest snow should occur. And you see that heavier snow is expected throughout upstate New York as well. And this even extends to the Appalachian Mountains of Pennsylvania. And you see, I'm expecting a large area of moderate snow extending from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and even extending to southwestern Pennsylvania and New Jersey could get involved in southeastern of New England as well. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. There's still a lot of uncertainty with the forecast, but the good news is that today there's a lot more certainty. There's a lot more certainty than there was days prior. So we can at least expect there's going to be at least some sort of snowstorm in the Northeast right around early next week. But there's still a lot of uncertainty of where exactly the heaviest snow will fall. But I'll make sure to update you guys as we get more closer and closer to the event and forecast becomes more reliable. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. And I hope you guys have a good day.